A lot of the things I learned in Alert are hard to put into words, because a lot of the things I learned at Alert, I didn't learn by people telling them to me. I learned it through the experiences I had here. And I think that's one of the big benefits of this program. In the second week of basic training, I was kind of mentally at home, worried about the stuff going on at home more than I should have been, because it wasn't really something I could have done anything about. It wasn't something I needed to be worrying about. My drill instructor just pulled me aside, and I don't remember exactly what he said, but essentially just told me that I need to focus on being where God had me at the time and really engage there and do as much as I could there and leave other stuff up to God to take care of. And that's something that not only helped me a lot then, but it's also something that I've remembered in the years since basic training.
Since my time being here, I've had huge growth in wanting to learn more about God. Before I came here, I would read my Bible and it would just be something I did. The main reason I'm here isn't for the physical growth, it's for the spiritual growth. I know it can get to a point where it feels like, oh, I've learned enough. I can stop here and just kind of sit back and be content for now, but there's always more you could be learning of God, and always more you can be giving. The more you get full, the more you can give to others. So
the camaraderie that we have, that was something that you don't know about it until you do it. Like, you can know stuff about it, but you don't know like the relationships you have with each other. And you just go through basic and you're like, wow, I feel close to all these guys. And then second phase and third phase, and it just keeps cementing it. And so yeah, definitely the camaraderie you have with everybody. And you're like, they went through a similar experience, this hard time, and now we're both better for it. And then now we can, you know their strengths, weaknesses, and now you feel closer and a better team to be able to go out and conquer more. And also, there's people around you who are struggling with the same stuff, and it makes you like, I'm not alone by myself. So if we don't keep the gospel at the center of our lives, everything is meaningless.
I still struggle with things, but every time when I struggle with them, I realize that Christ is there with me, and just makes me happy knowing that He's there with me, saying that I will never leave you nor forsake you. That I don't want to forget is that I have friends and family here too that are closer, that I can trust, and they're always gonna have my back. What I want to change is to keep my focusing onto other people and just not myself.
Change in place and a change in pace breeds a change in perspective. And I felt that to be so true many times at Alert.
What you think about most of the time is usually what you act out. So just think to yourself, oh, I can get through this. I can do this. Christ's strength. That's all I need. It's not about me being able to do everything. It's about being able to take what comes at you. Being content in where you are. That you can be joyful in the moment that God has given you, even if it's a struggle. This is gonna be great. I'm gonna be a bit better because of this.
It's gonna happen whether you like it or not, so why worry about it, sort of a thing. It's just like, it's just there, so, if you can't control it, why worry about it? Why just have smiles? Men here want to see you grow in every way, shape, and form, physically, mentally, spiritually, and they challenge you in order to do better. And especially your leaders want to invest time in you. And I find that really special here at Alert. Everybody is a brother, so whether it's your peer right next to you or Colonel Bear, they're all wanting to invest in their men. So I find that really awesome.
They've really set a good example for us, and they've had a lot of just kind of heart-to-heart conversations with us throughout training and giving us wisdom, things that they've learned. Probably my most fun experience was towards the end of second phase when we had that scenario day where we had just, I think it's 15 hours long and just multiple scenarios. And at first, like, me and some of the guys were sort of dreading it, thinking this is going to be like super hard, but we actually all had a blast the entire time. And even though a lot of things were hard, wherever you're at, be all there. And the reason kind of stuck out to me is I realized I had very much a tendency to be somewhat apathetic or half-hearted with stuff I was doing, and kind of have my mind being focused on other stuff I felt was more important, and just sort of take my time and not really focus on it as much. And I realized that, like, especially basic train this in you, that you need to be fully commit yourself to what you're doing. And so it really challenged me that whatever I'm doing, whether it seems like a mundane task or a really hard task that I don't want to do, I need to fully commit myself to doing it and put my all into it.
It wasn't really like a specific moment that kind of was like, oh wow, like yesterday I had a perspective change. It was more of the course of, I guess, all 3 phases. So it's really cool. Just like who I was in basic is not me now. I think my 2 weeks of dive, probably everyone says that because it's really fun. You have a lot of memories, you make a ton of memories. But for me, why it was impactful and fun was it kind of terrified me. Like, I wasn't really comfortable in the water. And like, I remember the first day, like my dive masters and people, their instructors were like chilling in the water. They'd go upside down and like blow rings and stuff. I'm like, how can you be that comfortable in the water? I'm just sitting here trying to not die. And so, but then like by the end of 2 weeks, I would sit on the bottom of Lake Loma and I would do the same thing, just relax there and blow rings. And that was really cool. And just to kind of see that growth for myself and just experience all those good times. So that was really fun for me, I guess, pushing myself and realizing that I could like overcome that fear.
That was, I had kind of reflected on my previous training and a lot of the stuff that my drill instructor Nelson and Corporal Kleckner had told me. And a few of the big things were about how if something went wrong in my day, it would affect my entire day. Where if I did bad at my uniform in the morning, then my entire day would be ruined. Then I did a lot of thinking about how I did and wasn't really happy with myself. So I just decided to, no matter what happened, no matter if I did good or if I did bad, to keep a good attitude and just to push myself to grow as much as possible. Stop focusing on yourself. I'd say just look around at everybody else. That's many times when you're going through something hard, someone else is going through something either equally as hard or a lot harder. And if you just look around at them and try to encourage them, then my attitude just mentally shifts when I'm encouraging someone else, and it's a lot easier to keep a good attitude.
I'd have to go to my unit leader, who would always state over and over again, lead from overflow. And he used this from Psalm 23, talking about my cup runneth over, in reference to God's love. And that just kind of sticks with me. We should be so in tune and abiding with God that we just overflow. Our cup overflows with his love, and then it just goes into the lives of other people around us. And that's how we should lead, from a direct focus of God spilling out into other people.